Welcome to our channel. In today's video, I'm going to give you a quick overview of how I design and 3D print a custom badge representing the amazing camp spots that we visit. The badge I'll be demonstrating today is from Cape Agulhas, the most southern tip of Africa, where the Atlantic and Indian Oceans meet. I'll take you through the steps step by step using different software, and I'll link them in the description below. While I won't be showing you the full design process, I'll give that to you in a follow-up video on how exactly I designed the hexagon design for the badge from scratch. These badges will be stuck onto my camping drawer that I've built for our pickup truck, and I'll be showing that also in the next video. And there you will see the featured 3D printed logo on the front and these badges on the side. If you love camping, 3D printing, or creative DIY projects, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. Let's dive in. I made use of ChatGPT for this graphic, and this one on the screen is the one that I ended up selecting, which is a plain and simple graphic showing a lighthouse. However, when I first started with ChatGPT, gave it some instructions, it gave me a colorful picture, and that was not quite what I wanted. I gave it further details, and this is important, is you're going to have to play around with ChatGPT until it gives you what you want. By asking for a simple design, it ended up giving me the type of graphic that I'd like for this design. On the right-hand side, I download the graphic, which I will then get as an HTML file. This now needs to be converted using a program called Convertio, and I then have to make this an SVG file. That's what we need for Tinkercad. So I'll show you how to convert it by uploading it. It's a simple process, and it's an open source software. You find the file that you save to your hard drive, upload it, and then you've got to ask what type of file you want it in. This one we want as an SVG. So you click on the drop down, select SVG, and click on Convert. Once it's converted, you'll find a little blue button for download. You click on download, and you will now have an SVG file that is ready for Tinkercad. And there you go. You can then open Tinkercad. You'll see that I've already done the badge, the background, which is a hexagon shape. You will then click on Import and find the file that you just converted to SVG. It will give you the pixels. You just have to make sure that it fits within the 1000 times 1000 or smaller, and import that. You now have to zoom out a bit because it's now quite big, and just change the size so that it fits the hexagon. And that obviously, when you design that from scratch, you can decide on how big you want your badges to be. So I'll zoom back in once I've now resized it to fit my badge. You'll see that this design, I've just color coded it so that because this is the filament colors that I'll be using. I'll be using a red for the hexagon, and then everything else, the logo, the writing, the frame, all in black. So once I've resized it, I have to then just check that it's smaller. It's got to go down to 2 millimeters height. I will then adjust the size to fit and be centered. And I also had to pick it up a little bit, otherwise it would have been at the same level as the badge. Again, I will give a detailed description of this in a following video. I go to text because I would like to remember where this was. So I'll change the text to say Agulhas, and I will use another text line for the date. So on my camping drawer, these will be all different colors with different names, different logos, so that you can remember the spot that you were camping at. I will now just manipulate the size to make it fit, and so that it's center. You'll see that I'll be changing the colors. You don't have to do this because obviously once you 3D print it, it prints in whatever filament color you are using. But just for the sake of this tutorial, I'm just showing it in the colors that I'm printing it at. So I'm changing the height also to 2 millimeters so that it fits the same as the logo. And this is where I'll add another text block for the date. And that represents the date or the year when we were there. So again, just moving it around. making sure that it fits. You'll see that it's again too high. I make it smaller and I drop it a bit lower so that it's all in line with the rest of the graphics. And remember again, so this will come in a more detailed tutorial in a following video. For now, this is just to show you a simple way of doing some keepsakes. So that's now the complete design. I will now have to group them all together by clicking and then dragging across all the graphics, and then I will click on group, which will then make it one image. There you go. Now you can see it's all one color, it's one image, it's all stuck together by grouping it. You will then click on export because it's now ready for print, and we now need an STL file, and this is why Tinkercad is so nice. It makes an STL file, which is your 3D printing file, and I open that file with my Creality program. The Creality program came with the 3D printer, so that's not something that I got online. So now what we want to do is we want to print this in two colors. So we want a red background for the badge, and then everything that's on top of that red badge will be in black, which means we need to give it an instruction in terms of stopping at a specific layer and then changing the color. I'm sure a lot of you know how to do this, but for the sake of those who don't, I'm just again giving a quick explanation of doing this. So I click on preview. This will now give me a view of the actual layers. So on the right hand side, you'll see there's a bar from 0 to 20. It means that this specific print has got 20 layers. So as I go down to level 1 or layer 1 and you move up, you can see each layer as it will print on your printer. So I'm trying to determine now at which layer will the red have to stop and where do I need to change my filament to black so that I can then print the next layers on top of the red. So if I move back up, I can see the line stops on the line to the left, and the next layer at layer 11, the graphic is actually starting to form, which means at the end of layer 10 is where I can actually change my filament. So I'm giving it an instruction, a G code, which I will then add a script to stop at a specific layer, a layer height. So I'm giving it also the layer number, which is 10 in this case. And these are just the changes that I make for my printer. They're all different. I haven't experienced with any others. I put those to a 0 because I want the printer head to come to the left-hand front side because I need to change the filament. And then I want it to be kept at the same temperature as what my filament is printing, in this case 230 degrees Celsius. So now that the instruction has been given, I have to slice it again so that it can take the G code with it, and then it's ready for your printer. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope that it was helpful. I would love to see your designs and your prints. If you've got any easier way of doing this, I would love to see that. Thank you, and looking forward to see you in the next video.